Is Advent of Code day number 17. I have decided to skip day number 16, which I attempted last night but did not complete. Brain just wasn't in the right headspace, and it feels like a intricate kind of puzzle that is better done when work has not left us completely exhausted. So, yeah. I'm going to give day 17 a try, and then we'll come back for day 16 over the weekend. Shouldn't be a big deal to do. Not much energy to do it yesterday or today, and that's fine. After all, Advent of Code is about having fun. Advent of Code is not necessarily about, grinding through something that doesn't make you have fun. So, wasn't having fun yesterday, I'm having fun today, that's what matters. Actually has a lot of analogies to the MIT Mystery Hunt, where it's like, hey, if you're not having fun, then you should tell the organizers something, and not just attempt to do the thing that's not fun, but instead, find something else that gives you more joy. So that's what I'm doing. All right, so I have a day 17 file prepped and ready to go. I have a input file ready to go. So we'll go ahead and get ready to do that soon. Today was also particularly exciting. We announced that thanks to some very long-term lobbying from me and from a bunch of my coworkers over the past 3.5 years, or 3 years, that we have a employee who we have as employees elected to the board of directors, and the board of directors has agreed to seat that person as a board member for a year, and then that person will get to vote on on whether or not they continue to be a board member, similar to how this works in general. Boards appoint who their members are. So I'm very excited for that. It should be a novel and new thing for our industry, or at least certainly for venture capital to have co-determination. And I think that it is something that's going to be really fantastic for ensuring that there is not a disconnect between management and line employees. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and kick this off, shall we? Got 3 seconds left on the clock. All right, let's do it. Day 17. Message says hi. That's not very helpful. Okay. Oh, this is a repeat of day 0, isn't it? You're supposed to fire the probe with velocities in the x and y directions. Yep. Due to drag, it decreases. It has to find a target area. Yep. That's perfectly reasonable. Yep, I see that. Yeah, because it comes to a horizontal stop and just falls through the water. One initial velocity that doesn't. Yep, because it just skips straight through it. How high can you make the probe go while still reaching the target area? Great. That seems reasonable. So basically, we want to shoot it as high into the air, or we want to just increment y until there is no x velocity that will make it possibly get into the target area. Okay, I understand this. This is basically a physics simulation puzzle, so that's fine. All right, let me go ahead and close out of that. So we have our first line, which is just literally, okay, target x min, target y min, target x max, target y max, int. All right, and let's go ahead and figure out how to record these numbers. So string split, comma, space. Yeah, let's split it by space first. Okay, and then we're going to just say min x, target x min equals parts 1 from index 2 onwards until we hit the dot dot. Okay. Parts. Okay, something like that. And then, yep. Okay, that should do the trick. Parts X from 2 onwards. I could just, at this point, hard code this into my program and it would be faster, but I'm trying to make generic problems that work on n-modified inputs because I find that personally to be a little bit tidier, in my personal opinion. Okay, and then we need to trim the trailing comma. Something like that should do the trick, and then basically the same thing, except for I can use this entire thing. Parts Y, parts Y. Okay, so let's just check that I parsed it correctly first. We'll just go ahead and slurp all these things and print them out. And obviously there will be some errors. It'll complain to me that I didn't use some of the things I imported. That's fine and natural. Yep, for instance, I didn't use mass. I do need stir conv. And, oh, right, of course. There we go. So we need to put that in all of the varying places. 40 is wrong. What did I do wrong? Oh, just one too many braces. Okay. Yep. Fair. I do not use attribute for now. Let's get rid of that. Xmin, Xmax. Oh, yeah, because I don't need to define those after all there. And this is going to be split index 0. Okay, we have a minor problem already on line 40. Parts X. What did I do wrong here? Because I'm trying to trim the colon, or the comma off the end. Like that? What did I do wrong? Is today a day where I can't do basic, stuff? Because that would seriously bum me out. Okay, what have I done wrong? Alright, let's have a look. Oh! It's printing that as one entire string. Why is it printing that as one entire string? Is that a tab character? No, that is definitely not a tab character. I find this very concerning. Yeah, okay. Did I type something funky into here? What on earth is going on? Have I forgotten how string split works? Individual substrings separated by... if it does not contain the separator, but this does have the separator, unless this is a tab, like I literally... I do not understand. Okay, I should have just hard-coded this because I've wasted 7 minutes on stupid input parsing. Either that or this is a regression in GoTip. Surely they would not have regressed GoTip. No, they didn't. Okay. Today we get to debug some exceedingly silly stuff. Let's try that. Just to make sure I understand what I'm doing. So if I split it on ... then... Oh, okay. Then each of the... Oh, okay, yes. So each of these still becomes independent parts. It's that the rendering is bad. Okay, never mind. Okay. Fine. So that was, in fact, correct. Parts 1, parts 2... Yeah, so... This now confuses me a lot. Yeah. Oh. Oh, target area. Off by 1 error. Okay, I'm a little cross at myself. There we go. 185, or sorry, 85, negative 163, 14, and... Oh, that should be 145. Oh, right, because I did this silly thing when I was debugging. Okay. Not my day. Not my day, not my day, not my day. Engineers should never blame their tools when it might very well be themselves. Yep, negative 163, negative 108, 85, 145. Okay, now it looks correct. Okay, now we can actually proceed with solving the problem. Okay, so, we start at 0, 0. Okay, so we just have something like this, which is type probe struct, and we have chord x, chord y, int vel x, vel y, int, func p probe. Don't mutate in place. Sure. Tick. So a probe that ticks will have chord p chord x plus equals p vel x. Same thing with the y. And then if p vel x is greater than 0, p vel x minus minus, and p vel y minus minus. Okay, so now we also need to check a number of other conditions. Can hit target. X min, y, x max, y min, y max, int. Okay. So this is going to return if it ever can hit the target area. Because if we've blown past the target area on the x or y axes, like we're, or sorry, yeah, if we've fallen below y min, if x is greater than x max, return false. If p or p chord y is less than y min. finally, chord x is less than x max, and p chord x is greater than x min, and p chord y is greater than less than y max, and p chord y is greater than y min. Okay. So, so how do I think about searching through this? Oh, and we need a... No, we can record the highest y elsewhere, that's fine. Okay. So, what have we here? Okay, so assuming that we just shoot it out of the cannon straight, there should be some x velocity that causes us to be able to hit the target even with no y velocity. And searching negative y velocities doesn't really necessarily make sense, because like that's not like, yeah, you could shoot it directly downwards at the target, but I don't really care about that right now. So let's think about this. If I shoot it with an incredibly high y value and set the forward velocity to 1, it'll just stop in place, right? So there is some minimum x velocity that I have to give it in order to even hit... I'm just thinking this out loud in my head. I know that no matter what the y that I set is, that x has to be at least something like it decreases by 1 per turn. So if I write like 10 plus 9, 2, that's, or sorry, that is right, sorry, that's 10 times 9. Right, so that'll go it'll go 45 squares if I just fire it with a straight X and then let it drop after that, because it'll just drop naturally into the target zone if I like it. So any additional y velocity doesn't really matter. So essentially, I know, I'm trying to figure out how to encode this as code, but I know what the range of valid x values is. So as long as I search every valid x value, then I can basically let the y values handle themselves and simulate increasing the y value until it no longer hits the target. I think that'll do it. Because basically you don't want it getting so high that it skips over the target area, right? Like on its way back down. That's the thing that I worry about. So, right, effectively, what I know I need to hit is, right, if I know I need to go about 85, right, that means that I know, yeah, I know that I have to have a velocity of at least, x velocity of at least 14, or I'll just never get there. It'll fall off the bottom. So encoding that into code, putting that into code, how do I take, so I need to take target x min this one, unlike yesterday, actually, has my brain thinking in a good way, which is nice. So, yeah. This is the challenge of wanting to do it the educational way rather than the fastest and dirtiest way necessarily, is that I'm going to be slower, and I'm okay with that. Okay. So essentially, target x min. So if I had the value 85, right? Essentially, what I'm asking is something like this. And the maximum x value that I can have is if I literally shot it directly at the target and it went past in one turn. Like, that is literally the maximum x value that I can have. So that is pretty straightforward. Just don't even take air resistance into account. Just fire it one tick, done. Okay. Yeah, that's what I just said, Fizbin. So I think we came to that realization at the same time. But the x min is how do I do this? Wait, this is completely bollock step. What was I even going for here? Okay. Right, mathematically, the operation I want to express is I want to keep on adding values. Oh, that's, yeah, okay. So yeah, I think that should do the trick. So let's just try doing this really fast, and we'll just comment this out. Yeah, I think that I could square root, but I'm a little worried about this. Like, it is technically -1 here to do this computation. So I'm just going to do it the silly way. Right, so if I run this should... Oh yeah, I know that's not used. That's fine. A9, there is always math in advent of code. Come on, you know this. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. All right. 0, 0, x val, y val. So when I'm calculating the y val min, essentially what I want to avoid happening is I don't want things to ever get to the point where I am skipping over 163 minus 108, right? Like, I don't want the negative y velocity to be 55, right? Like, that would be bad, more than 55, because then you would have to get really, really lucky. And in fact, if it's more than twice 55, there is, I guess technically it would be possible to slam dunk it in. Hey VWoo. I assume today is a nice and quick one, and I just overthought everything, and that's fine. But that's okay. Okay. Let's make sure I'm passing the arguments in the correct order, which I think I am. Oops, and I accidentally hit caps lock. That would be bad. Okay. Hey, VWoo. Thank you for the encouragement. Alright, so I think that should basically do the trick. So now I just need to figure out all of the potential y velocities. So is it possible to... How would I do this, right? Like, if I'm, like, sending it super high... Oh, but there's another dimension to this, which is that everything that goes up has to come down. That's the other thing. That's the other thing, right? Like, if I have a positive y velocity of 1, right, then I'm going to be like, you know, then it's, or like 1 plus 0 plus -1 plus -2, right? Like, right, like it's going to look something like this. Right, so that's kind of the other part of the equation. Right, so in this case, I know that from -163 to -108, that those are all valid coordinates, right? Right, but at a certain point, what happens is I can wind up adding terms that cancel on both, that ultimately wind up canceling on both sides. Right? If my velocity starts off as positive 2, I know it's going to go 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, -3, right? So essentially, The question I am asking is, at what point can you cancel terms from the series? And right, like, because yeah, we know we start at 0, so therefore we know we have to pass 0 on our way back down. I think that is a thing that I failed to understand. And also conversely, I don't actually need this highest one. I just need right, like, it turns out that if p y val is 0, right, like, that's the only comparison that I need to do, right? Because I hit 0 at the top of this. Yeah, I know that you can throw the computer at this, but I like being mathy about it. Right, so essentially what I'm saying is, right, like, it doesn't matter how many terms you keep on adding here, right? Like, there is a valid range of y's that will generate the highest value starting from 0, and it has to stop at the point where one single negative tick would take you all the way down to negative 163, right? So I'm pretty sure that this is valid so long as y val is less than 0 minus 0 minus y min. Pretty sure that's correct. Okay, so now let's try running it. Xvel max set. Can still hit target. That does need the list of target values. That's fine. It doesn't have. Oh, because it's not xvel. It's vel y. Where am I getting the 13 from? Oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. So my program thinks this is the answer, and that's not correct, but it is the right answer for someone else. Fascinating. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here that would result in an incorrect answer. Because the X max should have nothing to do with this. Okay, let's try this example, which has a target area that looks like this. Let's test against a simple input. Okay, so if I test against a simple input, what do I get? I get 36, which is precisely one less than the 45 that I would expect. So, yep, I've got it off by 1. Okay. Well, that's easy to fix. Oh. That's my problem. Tick. No, but I evaluated that already. Yeah, if it's greater than... Oh. Yep, here's my problem. These bounds are inclusive. Okay. Yep, now this yields 45, as we expect. Now if I run this on my input, 13203, which is correct. Wonderful. Okay. Find every target velocity. How many distinct initial velocity values? Oh, well, I have just made this really easy, haven't I? Great. That's, yep. So hits equals 0. I'll just use that, and the caveat here, though, is now I have to search potentially negative y velocities as well. But again, this is really straightforward. This is just you hit it on the first tick, you're done, right? That is literally the worst that you can do. So I can also fire it negative. Yeah, so I think that's just literally we throw it out there, we're done. Quickest part be solve. Yeah. Okay, that felt pretty fine. I definitely did not need distributed tracing today, so goodbye distributed tracing code. You were not needed today. Yep, I spent 10 minutes parsing the input, and then I spent 20 minutes just mathematically reasoning through the possible minimum and maximum values, and then just, like, iterated it, and it was fine. And the only bug that I had was right here. I'm trying to think about how you would trace the path, but with honeycomb, I can't figure out how you would do that. Okay. Are there any clamps that I want to do here? This feels self-explanatory. This I'm just going to get rid of this. This I know what it is. Yeah, and this feels like the straightest forward way rather than doing the square root technique. Is it possible to reduce the number of ticks that I need to simulate? Yes, the answer is yes, because you can compute the y velocity with the maximum y with the height. With the with the initial y velocity times y velocity minus 1 divided by 2. But yeah, can't really be bothered. This ran more than fast enough for me, so I'm happy enough with that. Okay, yeah, this is just getting formatted. Oh, I guess I can change this to remember my De Morgan's laws. I think that should work. Yeah, that I think is perfectly readable code, and it's fully generic, and it will run on any input without any hard coding. Oh, I don't need context anymore. Correct. Okay, are we still getting the correct answers? 13203, 5644. Yep, that's good. Okay. Let's go ahead and commit this, and I will see you all tomorrow. And we'll go ahead and send the RAID over to someone else. Let's send it over to Epsilon. See you tomorrow, folks, where we'll probably be solving both days, both the day I skipped and